Laura, are you going to record the? There we go. Kellen, I could just feel you sending me the vibes across there.
I was just about to remind you.
You're gonna do it. So welcome everybody to Senior Roundtable. We're so happy that you're here today. Thank you for joining us. My name is Laura Steigelman. I've had the pleasure of facilitating the Senior Roundtable since we started in 2008, believe it or not. 6 meetings a year. You'll hear more about that. But I just feel so fortunate. I've learned so much that I've learned in my that I've used in my personal life, shared with friends, told other people about, sent them videos of the recordings of the great programs because I knew it would be helpful to them. So I'm very, very happy to be here with you today. So again, thank you for joining us. And it has just stopped going forward. There we go. Okay. So if you are willing to keep your video on, it is appreciated. You have that thing along the bottom of your screen called a Zoom ruler, and you can move that anywhere you want to. If you choose to. I do use 2 screens because I put some stuff on one and then whatever I need immediately right here. So I'll move my stuff around. So the Zoom ruler has this thing called the chat box. If you're not very familiar with Zoom, or maybe just use other things, or maybe not a lot of virtual, you can open up that chat box and you're going to see that Callan already put a message in there for us. Callan's helping us out as our Zoom producer behind the scenes today. And you also have the mute and unmute option along that bottom Zoom ruler, but also you can hover over your own video picture and there's a mute, unmute there. If you're not the speaker, if you don't mind keeping yourself on mute, just in case Amazon shows up and your dog goes crazy, as a welcome to that Amazon person to say, hey, I love you. I wish I was out there with you. Let me bark like crazy. So if you're willing to keep yourself on mute, that helps just kind of moving the meeting forward. If you are able to include your first and last name under your video feed and the name of the organization, if it's applicable to you, you can put that all right underneath your name. One of the biggest reasons for these meetings is networking among each other. Who's out there? Who's helping seniors in a way that we're not able to with our agency or our organization? So them knowing your first and last name and your organization is helpful. To do that, you can hover over your own video. 3 little dots are going to pop up. Choose rename, and you can put all of that information in there if you choose to. Callan also has put those instructions in the chat box. So if you want to take a look there, that's the other way that you can do that. Our Zoom producer today, Callan, is starting us off. Mac is going to finish us off. So they're going to swap somewhere later in the meeting. And then, as you know, this meeting will be recorded and is being recorded and will be on YouTube in the next couple of days. Is this your first Senior Roundtable meeting? Anybody here, very first time they've ever been in a Senior Roundtable meeting? Okay, so lots of folks who have been here before. If we've got a couple folks, welcome. We're glad that you're here, and we hope that we get to continue to see you in the future. Here is where we're going to go today. What is Senior Roundtable? For anybody not familiar, we'll hear from our meeting sponsor, who's going to get 3 minutes on the clock to talk about their organization. You'll have an opportunity as we go through the meeting today, and you can do that anytime you want. If you have some organizational announcements that are for senior focused initiatives, activities, collaboration, please feel free to put those in the chat box. You will have a couple opportunities to network with others, to see who else is here, say hello, hopefully grow your list of contacts. Our topic today is solo aging, and we have, I don't know why it's doing that, but that's interesting too. We have some great speakers for talking about the solo aging and resources available for folks. And then our meeting sponsor donates 2 $25 gift cards, and we will give those away at the end. Need to be here to be a winner for those, and then we will wrap up and get you out the door. Senior Roundtable was started by the Community Foundation, and I mentioned 2008. Janet Ellen is our liaison. She had a conflict today. She'll be one of those that watches the video later on. And she is awesome. And in the chat box in just a little bit, you're going to see that there is a special grant that's going on that the Community Foundation wants to make sure everybody knows about. We'll put that in there in just a second. And actually, Callan, if you want to put it in there ahead of time, it's the one from Janet Ellen that goes under, I think, slide 15. And then Elder Source does tons for us behind the scenes. So if we have a meeting in person, they let us use their space. Gabby is the one who sends out all these announcements for us, all the emails that you're getting all through Gabby at Elder Source. Andrea is huge behind the scenes, helping all these things happen. Linda Levin's heavily involved, etc. So huge thank you to Elder Source. Okay, so who is Senior Roundtable? We are a coalition of anybody who is interested in that senior sector. Either you work there, you volunteer there, you're a family member that's there, whatever those reasons would be, we're just happy that you're with us. We do meet every other month. 4 of the meetings typically have been on Zoom. Ever since COVID, we've kept that because we have a lot of people outside the immediate Jacksonville area. And then a couple a year we try to have in person. So the purpose is network, who else is out there, and gain information on something that will hopefully be helpful in the work that you do. And you can see our mission statement down there. Those collaborative relationships is what it's all about. Behind the scenes, if you are here, please give us a wave if you are here. These folks help with determining what is a great topic that you think that this group would be interested in and be helpful to them. They reach out and give us contacts for the speakers, all of those things. We appreciate everything that this group does. Definitely could not make it work without them. If you would like to stay connected outside of these meetings, there's several ways to do that. Meeting notifications come from Gabby, as I mentioned, and I think that Callan's putting some of this information in the chat room. Gabby is the one who can put you on the email list. So if you want to get these notices directly, let her know. We do have a LinkedIn group. You can see that there. So please join us. And if you have anything that's senior focused that you would like to post, you can do so. Janet Ellen did, we had that post for her yesterday. So you'll see that there. And then if you've missed a meeting since 2022, almost all of the meetings, everything that's been Zoom at least, has been posted on our YouTube. And I'm going to talk about that in just a little bit. So let me move over to our meeting sponsor, Haven Dementia Care. And Anita is our spokesperson today for that. Anita, if you will go ahead and hit your timer for your 3 minutes, and this is all yours.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm Anita Howard. I'm the Dementia Care Program Manager at Haven Hospice, and I just want to thank you all for letting us be here today with you and for sponsoring this meeting. I just want to share a little bit about our program with you all. At Haven Hospice, we do hospice and palliative care services, and then about 2 years ago, we identified that 1 out of 2 of each of our patients being admitted have a dementia-related diagnosis. And so we started a program that allows us to meet with their caregivers and identify ways to engage with their loved ones one-to-one. So in addition to our regular nurses and CNAs, chaplains, and social workers going to do visits, we now have activities coordinators that have received additional training through organizations like CAPC. We also get them trained through Positive Approach to Care with TIPA-SNO, and several of us hold certifications from Positive Approach to Care for being trainers and consultants, so we can go out and give workshops that have been approved by that organization. So with our patients, we do additional one-to-one visits. With their caregivers, we identify what kind of education they need, whether it be what's going to happen to their loved one as the dementia progresses. And we also help them identify ways to prevent caregiver burnout. We also send in volunteers to sit with their loved ones so that they can take a little bit of a break, or they can come to one of our 5 care centers for a 5-day respite stay as needed. Out in our communities, we do the TIPA-SNO workshops that can be, and regular workshops based on needs, like in facilities. So if they tell us they want to focus on a certain topic, like helping their caregivers address behaviors, then we put together, or we tailor an in-service for them, and they can be anywhere from 15 minutes to 2 hours. We also do dementia simulations, which give them an opportunity to walk a mile in the shoes of those that have dementia. We also have 23 support groups that are throughout North Central Florida, with many of them being there in the Jacksonville Orange Park market. I did send some flyers that identify where all of those support groups are, and one of our brochures. The one-to-one meetings and the direct caregiver meetings are only available to our patients on hospice, but everything else we do in the community is available to everyone. So you don't have to be a have a patient on our services to be able to attend the workshops or the support groups. And we're hoping in the future that we'll be able to offer more direct care to those not on our services as well. I think that's the end of my 3 minutes there. It
Excellent.
gets quick.
Anita, thank you so much. And if anybody notices, you will see in the chat box that I put Anita's 3 documents in there. And just an FYI, we love it that the meeting chat is busy, and it will be really busy. And everybody that is speaking today has handouts or a link or something like that. It can get completely overwhelming, especially if you don't know how to get a document out of the chat box, which a lot of the world does not know how to do that. So just know that after the meeting is over, I first of all clean up the chat. So if someone says, hey, I'm so-and-so and we do this, etc., I include all of that in what's going to come to you in the post-meeting email. And I also take all of those documents and I include it in the email that Gabby's going to send out. So we do a meeting notice afterwards, a post-meeting. We'll include the link to this recording, everything that was vital in that chat box, introductions, documents, all that stuff. So if that's not your thing to get the document out of there, know that it's coming and you're going to have a second opportunity to get that. So, and so it leads us to, why is the chat box so busy? This is one of the reasons why that we love. We want you to have an opportunity that if you have something coming up, and I think Janet Ellen's post is in there just as a great example. Kellen, thank you. So if you have something coming up that you think others would want to know about or can join you, or you need somebody to collaborate, or it's like, hey, FYI, we've got this thing coming up. Please make sure your clients know. Or so that is the place to put it. Put your contact information in, or how do they find out more information? Put that in the chat box. And again, I'll include that when I clean that chat box up and get that out there as a post meeting. So you can do that anytime along the way. So we talked a lot about growing your network. Every time we've done a survey of why do you attend senior roundtable meetings, every single time to meet other people in my community that also serve and care about seniors is always the number 1 reason. Number 2 is I learned something valuable, which is where the program comes in. So we'll continue with that format until everybody tells us not to. In this case, growing your network means an opportunity to talk to others in a breakout room. We'll have 2 rounds. You'll get to meet some other folks in round 2, and it's going to go pretty quickly. The goal is to get you connected. If you don't know each other, or if it's been a while, you have a chance to say hello to each other once again. And you'll see these directions. If you go into your breakout room, once we're ready to send you in just a minute or so, if you click on the chat box, once you're in the Zoom room, you will see these instructions. And if not, you know that the goal is to say hello to each other. You will have a clock inside the Zoom room with you. It is small. It's just the way that Zoom does it. Not sure why, but it's a small little clock and it will give you a countdown. And then you'll have 60 seconds past that to kind of get to a stopping point. So we're not catching you mid-sentence, coming back into the room and you meant to finish a thought. So if you'll share, what is it that you do, your organization, etc. Halloween, costume or no costume for you, where are you with that? And again, you'll have a total of 8 minutes. So we're going to send you automatically. We'll bring you back automatically. Please enjoy your time. And again, if you haven't introduced yourself, even via chat to the rest of the group, you can. I'm this person, I work here, or I do this, or I'm the person who does this kind of thing. Here's how to contact me, blah, 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 blah. So all of that kind of information is awesome to have. And again, I'll clean that up and get that out to everybody in the next couple of days. So with that, we are going to start our program. We've got some stats Kellen's going to put in the chat box for us as we get this started. And you can see this is given to us by Elder Source. You know, the numbers are just continuing to grow. And this was a great topic to dive into. Kind of a disclaimer on this. There are so many topics that could fit under the heading of solo aging. We could have had an 8-hour meeting, as everybody knows. You're involved with all these different things. Pamela Sanderson has put something in the chat box about a community meeting coming up that's all about Medicare and a bunch of different things for our aging population. So this we're gonna pick what we think is going to be most helpful, and then we have some additional resources for you. Every one of these folks gave us either brochures, flyers, a link, something to support all the work that they do and the different things that you've got available to you for your clients, for yourself, etc. with that. So we're going to start with Brooks. Zoom, we did practice this morning with Brooks going back and forth because she's going to share her slides. And
let's give it a shot. Okay, so I am coming from Aging True, of course. And apologize, I'm going to read these because, as Laura mentioned, there's so much information. And when I tried to do this on my own, I went rogue and it was not pretty. So I'm Brooks Mondares. I'm a licensed clinical social worker and the lead mental wellness counselor here at Aging True. And I've been with the company for 6 years, and I have such a great passion for the elderly. Always enjoyed being with my grandparents, so it just kind of fell into the role of being able to eventually work with the elderly. So let me explain a little bit about who Aging True is. We're Northeast's largest nonprofit provider of senior services and leader in enabling home-based senior independence. We operated under Cathedral Foundation and Urban Jacksonville, which was designed and administered to help seniors in Northeast Florida remain independent and age gracefully, whether in their own home or eventually getting to independent living or assisted living. A little history about Aging True is that in 1991, it was designated as the Community Care for Elderly Leading Agency in Duval County. In 2009, it was named administrator of the Florida Self-Directed Care Program of Northeast Florida by DCF. In 2011, they changed their name to Aging True to really focus on what Aging True represents. And that's, dealing with the elderly and aging gracefully, which is what aging really should be about. In 2019, Aging True expanded to include senior centers, and in Green Cove Springs, actually a daycare center. And we'll get into a little bit more of that in a second. Here are some of the pillars of our services. We start with healthcare, which is the mental wellness department that I'm going to talk about here in a little bit. Also, adult daycare. We have in-home services and caregiver support. Sometimes our elderly are able to stay at home, but still need a little help. And that's where those in-home services come in, just to give them that extra support. Also, daily money management. I won't get into that at all because we've got Esther here that's going to be giving you more information on that. Then, of course, nutrition. Most of our elders are homebound or should not be driving, and they tell us they're only driving because they have to get to the store to get their food. So we offer Meals on Wheels, and we also have congregate meal sites for those who do who are able to get out. Then we'll jump into our senior centers. We have one located in Green Cove Springs, another in Orange Park. We also have one in Middleburg, and then there's one in Keystone Heights. For those who need independent living, we have 4 facilities, and they're all located in downtown Jacksonville. We have Cathedral Towers, Cathedral Terrace, Cathedral Townhome, and our newest one, Ashley Square. Now, most of us know a little bit about mental illness, but let me give you a couple of definitions so you can really kind of understand what we're facing when we're dealing with some of our, whether elderly or just people in general. Mental illnesses are health conditions involving changes in emotions, thinking, and or behaviors. Mental illnesses can be associated with distress and or problems functioning at work, in social environments, or at family activities. And then another definition says mental illness is a condition that affects a person's thinking, feelings, behavior, and or mood. These conditions deeply impact day-to-day living and also affect the ability to relate to others. So now I want to get into more specifics about mental health and our seniors. So these are a few facts, and as Aging True in many of your own organizations, these are the things that we're trying to help our seniors with. So here are the facts. 1 in 4 older adults experiences some mental disorder, such as anxiety, depression, or dementia. Due to population aging, the number of seniors with mental disorders is expected to double by 2013. And I don't know about you guys, but that just blew me out of the water. That's crazy. Depression is the most common mental health problem in older adults, and people over 85 and older have the highest rate of suicide amongst other age groups. 2/3 of seniors with mental health problems do not get the treatment they need, and mental health services for adults are extremely limited in many places. The most common mental health issues that we see in seniors are depression, anxiety, substance use disorder, bipolar, and schizophrenia. Some of the risk factors that lead to those issues are chronic pain and other physical problems, reduced mobility, social isolation, lack of self-care, dementia or cognitive decline, grief or widowhood, malnutrition, or side effects due to medications. So I want to talk a little bit about our mental wellness program, and keep that 2 slides ago, keep that in mind as to what people are going through and the statistics of mental health issues. So Aging True provides mental health services for seniors and their caregivers, as well as individuals who are homebound, disabled, or otherwise unable to access traditional methods of receiving mental health care. Aging True is unique in that we offer in-home health care, in-home mental health care, which I think is great, because when you go into the home and they're telling you, I don't have any other issues, I just need to talk to somebody because I'm lonely or I'm depressed, and you look around and there's dishes in the sink or bugs crawling on the walls, that's where we can come in and say, you know, maybe we can offer you some more help with in-home services and start getting them, you know, on that plan. We also offer telehealth, which really became vital during the pandemic, as Laura mentioned earlier, with the Zoom conferences. I do like to go into the home to get that better picture, but you know, if someone's not willing for us to come in right away, because there is that stigma against mental health, particularly in the elderly, we can start off with telehealth, and eventually, as they get comfortable with us, eventually 9 times out of 10, they'll say, hey, can you come and visit me now? So that's been a good thing. These services include person-centered approach, in-home individual health assessments and counseling, as well as support groups for depression, anxiety, and grief or loss. Aging True has been providing mental health services to seniors in Duval County and the surrounding areas for 15 years. Our mental wellness department offers services and support that are geared towards improving the quality of life for older adults who may be experiencing mental health issues. So let's talk about who's eligible through Aging True to receive these mental wellness visits. So individuals over 55 and older, seniors or their caregivers who are experiencing symptoms with depression and or anxiety, grief and loss, behavioral changes due to dementia. And this is generally for our caregivers, because you don't know what you don't know until you're in the middle of it. So when you have a parent that's aging and all of a sudden their behavior is changing, you know, you don't know what that's due to. So we come in and of course we start with, you know, maybe it's a UTI. Have you seen your doctor? We educate on the stages of dementia, and we also encourage the caregiver to practice self-care, because obviously if they're not caring for themselves, they're not going to have the mental or physical capacity to take care of their loved one. Our seniors who experience increased social isolation, difficulties in adjusting to age-related health concerns, changes in their living situations, or they may feel that they're a victim of abuse, neglect, or fraud. So we can help with all of those issues. Here are some of our goals that we try our best to help with. And while I'm going through this list, I want you to think about your clients and who may benefit from some mental wellness services. So we try to identify undiagnosed and untreated mental health needs. We reduce social isolation, reduce anxiety and or depression. We address grief and age-related stress issues. We increase emotional well-being. We introduce effective coping skills, increase social community engagement. We try to decrease stress with the caregivers, increase compliance with support services, determine eligibility for a variety of social supports and continued independence. We enhance overall functioning and emotional well-being while remaining within the community in the least restrictive setting. When we notice a higher level of care, we start that process. They may need independent living or assisted living. And we work hand in hand with Elder Source, and we also work with Oasis Senior Advisors and other programs to help them with that next step. They really have, you know, a lot of them who can't see are really restricted to filling out forms and things like that. So we come in and help them with those types of things. So that was kind of it in a nutshell. I'm going to look at the chat box later to see if you all had any questions, and I'll get back with you at my earliest convenience. In the meantime, you can always go to the website or give us a call. And I want to reach out to you service coordinators. If you feel that you have residents in your building that could benefit from this, don't hesitate to reach out. The mental wellness counselors also, I'm not the only one there. There's 4 of us there at Aging True. And we can come out and do a presentation. Obviously, it won't be this presentation. It's going to be more geared towards educating them on how Aging True can come in and help them with, you know, mental health issues that they may have. Okay, so hope to hear from you guys soon. Thanks a lot.
Brooke, thank you so much. That was awesome. And just FYI for everyone, Brooke is going to let us, I'm going to stop sharing there. Brooke is going to let us go ahead and share these slides with you if that's helpful. So we'll send those also in the post meeting. I was going to put them in the chat. Again, a ton of information in chat. So we're going to switch over now to the legal aspects of solo aging for those who are already solo aging or they are going to be, and they're preparing ahead of time. And interesting, Esther was sharing an interesting story that they had somebody who thought that they were completely set up and now they're solo aging and they're not. So interesting to hear. So Katherine, I'm going to switch over to you. Also, I did put just now, Catholic Charities has a food distribution coming up. We got it sent to us, but they couldn't attend the meeting this morning. So I put that in there as well. So Katherine, I think I've got your document up.
Yep.
Got it? Okay. And tell me if you need me to scroll or do anything else at that time.
Is there a way
Katherine,
to make
welcome.
like
Welcome,
all on
welcome.
one page? Is there?
I can make it smaller. Does that help? Or I
Yeah.
can roll when you tell me to.
All
Can you
right.
see it? Is it rolling for you?
Yeah, just the first page. Sorry. For now. So I'm Katherine Naugle. I'm an estate planning attorney. My firm is Schnauss Naugle Law. We're a small firm in Riverside, and we focus on estate planning and probate. So wills, trusts, power of attorney, which I'm going to talk about, all those things, and then probate when someone passes away. So I guess what we're talking about today is just essential legal documents that seniors need. And, you know, we have clients come in. The worst thing I see is clients that the family comes in, the family member has developed severe dementia or is in the hospital, had a stroke, and they don't have any of the documents I'm going to tell you about. And so it makes it really hard on the family. So our goal is to advise our clients, these are the things that you need. This is what we recommend that you have, so that when I always tell my clients, I hope nothing ever happens to you, but if it does, your family has these documents, they can step in and help you. So when you hear the term advance directives, that is directing in advance what you want, who you want to control, decisions, things like that. So that's really what that means. The first type of advance directive is a healthcare surrogate designation. Very, very important. So if you were to become incapacitated and could not give consent for family members, friends to make healthcare decisions for you, having this document in place allows you to give that person the authority to do that. So if I got hit by a bus and I'm in the hospital and I can't talk and I can't make decisions and I don't have a healthcare surrogate in place, no one can legally make medical decisions for me. So then my family has to go to the court and have a guardian appointed, and we try everything we can to have guardianship avoided for our clients. A healthcare surrogate designation gets around all the HIPAA privacy laws that even spouses and children can run into, getting medical records, talking to doctors, hospitals, nurses, making medical decisions. We have clients come in every day that say, thank goodness my mom had the healthcare surrogate in place because it just made it so much easier. I don't want my clients sitting in front of me when they should be sitting with their family member in the hospital. So very, very, very important. The next document that is extremely important is called a durable power of attorney. A durable power of attorney is a lifetime financial document, so only valid during your life. It allows you to name someone to make financial decisions for you if you couldn't make them for yourself. It is immediately effective in Florida when you sign it. It is an extremely powerful document, but it is very important to have because if you were to become incapacitated while and still living, and you don't have a power of attorney in place, nobody can make financial decisions for you, pay your bills, pay your taxes, manage your finances, get you on Medicaid if you have to go into a long-term care facility. And again, that if you don't have it, triggers a guardianship, which Esther could tell you all about. She's a wonderful guardian. But a guardianship is where the court has to step in and appoint somebody to make financial and medical decisions for you. It's very expensive. I mean, I would say an average guardianship is about $10,000 to set up, and it's an ongoing legal proceeding until the person passes away or regains capacity. By having a healthcare surrogate for healthcare and a durable power of attorney in place, you can 99.9% of the time prevent a court-appointed guardian. So if I had to say what are the two most important documents I'm going to tell you about, it would be the healthcare surrogate and the power of attorney. The other type of document that we recommend is called the last will and testament. That is where you designate the beneficiaries of your assets when you pass away. You also designate what's called a personal representative. That's the person that you're putting in charge of gathering together your assets, paying your final expenses, and then distributing the assets under the terms of the will. If you don't have a will in place and you pass away, then Florida statutes dictate who gets your assets. We had a probate recently that it broke my heart, but she loved animals. She didn't have kids. She didn't have, very distant relatives. We had this list of people that got a very large amount of money. None of them gave to the animal charity. And I know what she would have wanted. And it made me so sad because all these random people that she didn't even really know, the third and fourth cousins, get money. Had she had a will or a trust in place, she could have controlled what happened to that money. So extremely important to have that in place. There are also revocable trusts, which I'm not going to go into today. And that's a matter of, going through probate or preventing probate. And those are all things that we talk to our clients about. But it's so important for you to have control, and that's our goal with our clients, is you control what happens to your money, what happens to your assets. Planning for pets is a big thing. My two dogs are sitting here under my desk. I bring them to work every day. They're, just like my human kids, and my pets are my family. They are my children. So if something happens to me, I want to make sure they're taken care of. We can plan for that. Pets are seen as personal property, that seems weird to me, but anyway, we can dictate who gets your pets. You can leave money to take care of your pets. These are all things that if you plan, they can be taken care of. When people pass away, if they don't have family or friends that take the pets, a lot of times they end up at in these different pounds and things like that. And it's heartbreaking for me. And so it's just so important to do that. Growing up, my dad was a ophthalmologist, and he had a patient who passed away, and he didn't have any family, anything. And we ended up taking this little poodle, which was the light of our lives, but it's just that I see that and I'm like, oh, you've got to plan for that. We have a person right now that's leaving significant funds to her dogs and to animal charities because that's what she cares about. So the main thing is just sit down with someone and go through what you need to do so that you are in control if something happens to you, either during your life or when you pass away. If you have a client that has no family, has no one to list, we as estate planning attorneys, we can connect you with people that can still help and put the team in place to take care of your client so that they're not left. The worst thing is you have someone and it's an emergency situation and there's no one that can help, no one that can take care of the person. And so you just have to plan ahead, and it's not a fun process. And I just look at it like paying your income tax. I hate doing it, but you do it, you get it done, and then you don't have to worry about it. So it's just, just important to think about, and it just to give you peace of mind that you've planned for that to happen. So I think that was the main thing I wanted to talk about.
And Katherine, you've got a couple minutes. Is there any things that people should be careful about, or tips or anything like that you think would be helpful for folks to know as we talk about this solo aging situation?
I think it's just so important to know that things that you assume that your kids or your spouse could step in and help you if something happened, and legally they can't. People don't understand that. Having a trusted family member or friend in place if you become incapacitated, so that someone doesn't step in and take financial disadvantage of you. Or we had a client that got talked into signing a deed for her property and she doesn't remember signing it. Those are all things that can happen if no one is paying attention to that person. So you've got to have your team in place so that those things don't happen. Just having that default decision maker in place is very important. We just try to, I'm sad when I have clients that, they go in the hospital, they have things happen, but having those documents in place, the kids always say, thank goodness mom or dad did this, because we could easily step in and manage things for them until they recovered or when they passed away. And 9 times out of 10, those kids come back and they say, well, we need to do the same thing because it was so easy, or this was so hard because my loved one didn't plan. How can I avoid that? So just so important.
Excellent. And Katherine, I don't know if you do presentations. I know Esther, who's going to be up here in just a minute, she said you guys work so closely together on a lot of different things. Is there additional seminars, anything that you would like to give people a heads up that, hey, we've got this kind of workshop, or we go to this kind of place. If you want us to come in, we can. I don't know how extensive you do outside of, I know you're busy in your own office.
Yeah, so we do go in regularly to assisted living facilities, talk to in churches, things like that, to talk to people about what they should do and what they should have in place. And if it's something that you have a group you think would be interested in having us come talk to them, I would be more than happy to talk to you. I'll put my information in the chat box. But yeah, I'd be happy to come speak to you.
Awesome. Katherine, thank you so much. And I just want to say, every time we've asked Katherine for help, either to jump in on a program or to sponsor a program, she's always said yes. She's fantastic. She is in it because she's passionate about it, as you can hear from everything that she said. I'm very surprised she hasn't adopted 100 animals. Maybe she has, and she's just claiming to have the 2 dogs. Don't know. But Katherine, thank you. And thank you for helping us out again today.
You're welcome.
All right, so we are moving on to Esther. Esther is going to kind of continue some of these things. We've asked her to talk about guardianship, but you can see that she also does several other things as well. So Esther, in your time, whatever you can squeeze in the time that you've got allotted for you, it's all yours.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone.
Hello, doctor.
Just to give you a little bit about me, I've been with Aging True, Urban Jacksonville, everything that we've been through the years for the last 29 years. I just celebrated last week, actually. And I have learned a lot through these years and have grown with this program to help us and our seniors in our area. One of the biggest things Katherine touched base on is doing the healthcare surrogate part. One of the things I try to do is we were talking in one of the breakout rooms is being proactive instead of being reactive and trying to work with our clients that way. I've been a big advocate of trying to tell people and advise people to go, and if they go into rehab, talk to these people when they're there, because 5 years down the road, all of a sudden you get a phone call from the nursing home saying, hey, can you guardianship for this person? Because we need to put them in hospice. Well, nobody in 5 years ever talked to them about would they even want hospice. So I work on this things of, if you know what you want or you have somebody you can talk to, everybody can fill out the healthcare proxy information of what they want, the living will and stuff. Even if they have nobody to appoint, at least when a guardian gets appointed from the courts, there's something to find there and know what that person wanted. So we look at that type of stuff to see what's going on there. With the daily money management program, so I'm going to step back just a second, we do more of hands-on. We are going to be working on, I'll use a scenario right now. We have a young lady that has needed to move from her house. We have that she's renting, and we're getting her into assisted living. We have used a advisory group to assist us with that. And we are using a company to help her to do the physical move, looking at doing the estate sale. We went through documents with her and figured out that she did do all of everything. She has a power of attorney. She has her healthcare surrogate. Unfortunately, she does not have a relationship with her 3 daughters anymore. So the stuff that she put in place is a piece of paper and not going to be activated. So now we're trying to figure out, once we get her moved, get her out of the situation she's in, hopefully get her a little bit more healthier than what she currently is, and she will be able to look at doing the solo aging now, and we'll move from there to see how we can help her. I have another gentleman that's reaching out doing the same thing. He thought he had everything in place, got an organization that's supposed to be doing it. They're not calling him back now that he really needs them. So we're trying to work on that type stuff also to try and figure out where can he go without having to go into a guardianship later on in life. Unfortunately, he's a young gentleman at 65 with early onset dementia. And the worst part is he knows what's coming, and he's trying to be proactive about it and get things in place for he can do. And when it comes to funding, he has a dog. He wants to make sure the dog's being taken care of. He wants to be at home with his dog. And so we're going to try to help to see where we can go with that on that part. So a big piece of what we do is daily money management. We go in when something, this goes into the solo aging also, is we have somebody that's lost a spouse, and they have, the spouse was who managed the funds. And so now they're lost, or the spouse was here and they were computer savvy and was doing a lot of things online, but the others are not capable at this time frame of doing that. We're trying to go in and help them to get things in place where they can continue and hopefully get the checking book straightened out, because we still have a lot of people that do write checks, and try to get them into the modern world if we're possible, and make them feel safe, because everything we hear on TV is don't do this, don't do that. But then you have people like us that go in and say, hey, let's help you set up direct withdrawal. Let's help you make sure that the JEA bill is going to be paid, or if we can make sure your rent's going to be paid, because that's the one that we fall into a lot, is that people that do end up at the hospital end up at rehab, and they go to come back to their apartment and they don't have an apartment because their rent wasn't paid for that 3 months that they were gone. So we try to get those things set up, but it's also trying to break down that barrier at the same time, that some things are okay if we can get you in the right group that you're doing. Sometimes we bring in our mental wellness department to help us on that, because some of it, when we start bringing these things in, we're figuring out that there's also things in the background that have come back up because they've lost a spouse, or this is going on, or they just all of a sudden got scared about stuff. The pandemic, as we said, has brought a lot of things back from people, of us all being isolated and stuff. So a lot of our 80-year-olds and stuff are really having a hard time with that, because that's what our young lady is. She moved here in the pandemic, and then she's totally isolated herself ever since. And she was a very social lady and a very professional salesperson. She was a major person with a John Deere tractor. I was really impressed with that. So there's a lot of things that are out there that we try to do. We do a lot of education, working with Katherine and stuff, different things like that. I am the for our local chapter of the Florida State Guardianship Association. I'm the secretary for our chapter. We have been in like this is for a little bit here. We're going to be trying to get that back started. We do a lot of education through that. We have a lot of professional guardians in our area now that we did not have in the past. Agent True has done guardianship since the 80s, because we were the place for guardianship because there was nothing. We now have in our area and throughout the whole state of Florida, there is a public guardianship program. So if somebody does need guardianship that it does not have anybody at all, they have their criteria that they can work with that program. Unfortunately, as everything goes, there's always waiting lists no matter where we go. So when somebody calls me about guardianship, I am a professional guardian on staff for us. It's our organization is actually the guardian. So, but we try to do everything possible to put in place, if we can, if that person has the capability to get with an attorney, get documents set up, because guardianship, as Katherine said, is always last resort. That takes away, a lot of people don't realize you can't vote, you can't decide where you're going to live, or they decide that you can decide where you want to live, but you can't sign the contract to live there. So there's a lot of different things that really come into play with going into a full guardianship and being deemed by the court system as lacking capacity. So we try to do everything there. So our other things that we do, we go out to the apartments, we do a lot of education on advance directives. What does a live-in will really mean? When is it supposed to come into play? You get the documents and then they're like, okay, what do I do with them? So don't go lock them up in the safe deposit box, because it doesn't do any good over there, because you didn't designate somebody to be on that safe deposit box to get in there to figure it out. So we try to make sure that everybody knows there's now safeguards. There are programs on the computer now that you can put your directions into, and your loved ones, if you have them, are able to get into them, even being in Washington State. So like I said, the biggest things that we do here is in any of our programs is educate, and that you keep the person as much in control of their life and independence as possible. So that's us basically in a nutshell. I do, like I said, my little team does a lot of different things with whatever it takes to keep you home if we can. Agent True's goal is always to keep you independent. And if you're unable to do that, what is the next steps, and who do we work with to try to get you into that safe spot?
Excellent.
I probably did that too quickly.
No, Esther, that was awesome. And Esther had sent us a bunch of flyers, and I just put those in the chat box, and you can see those in-home services, mental wellness, nutrition, a bunch of different things. Again, we'll send them in the Pulse meeting. If you're not going to grab them out of the chat, just know that you're going to get those eventually. And Esther, one last question for you. Is there charges for everything? Is there a sliding scale? Is it, if you qualify, if there's no charge, how does that work?
There's different programs that we can try to see if the person fits into.
Okay.
We do some private pay, minimal stuff on that part, and then sliding scale. We can do that with any of our most of the things with daily money management. But we always try to see if there's if we can get you into a program with either Older Americans Act funding, and try to use that. Which a lot of it is we can do stuff with under emotional support, and trying to get all this stuff aligned, and then go from there and see where things are at.
Excellent. Esther, thank you so much. If you have any
You're welcome.
questions for Esther or anybody else that has spoken already today, feel free to put those in the chat. I'll ask the speakers, just keep an eye on it. If you see somebody who has got a question in there, actually there's questions. So once guardianship is established, the person is very limited control. Can guardianship be reversed? So a last question there for you, Esther.
Yes, it can be. I have actually, in my time here, I have been involved with 3 of my clients getting back their capacity. So it's not an easy process, but one of the things as a guardian in the state of Florida, you're always supposed to be looking at getting back any of the rights for your person. So yearly you do reports, you look at what's going on. It's your responsibility to make sure that, hey, we realize now there's a lot of things going on. As Brooke said, like first when we go in, unfortunately, does the person have a UTI? Because that really does a lot of things as we age and can make a lot of different things that right now, my young lady I'm dealing with right now, I can believe with her that in the past year, from the things that we have gotten from friends, that she probably had some mini strokes last year. And now that she's not seen a doctor in 3 years, and now we got her in here and got her with mobile medical and figured out she's majorly dehydrated, which of course causes confusion. That's why I figure once we get her moved, we already talked about it yesterday. The game plan is let's get her in there, get her 3 meals a day, really get into, we're going to give her a couple weeks and settled in, and then we're going to go back and check. So it'd be the same thing what we're doing with her. She's not in a guardianship yet, but we're noticing those are some things that can be changed. Guardianship, I've had them go the court will appoint a examining committee to go back out and review the person. And from those reports, that's what the judge will decide on if the person gets their rights back. But it can be done, and it's always supposed to be looked at.
Esther, as always for everybody, thank you so much for everything that you do. I'm going to wrap up and we're going to move on to Connie. And Connie, just a second, I'll get you an official introduction here. But Esther, you've got another question in the chat box. If you're comfortable responding in the chat box, and even if you want to put anything in there for Latonja's, just so I have kind of the written document of that, and I can include that to the chat post edit once we sent that all out. So you got a couple good questions in there. Ellen had the last question. So our next speaker is going to be Connie. So we're moving on to how do we keep solo agers connected, help with that isolation, all of those things. We've asked Connie just to spend a couple quick minutes telling us about all the wonderful things that the YMCA has. So Connie, if you'll do a self-introduction and tell us about the YMCA, and I will put your link in the chat box also for all the great things that you guys are doing.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Laura. I am Connie Smith. I am the Senior Director of Healthy Living for the First Coast YMCA. We have 13 branches across 4 of our counties, but we service 7 total counties on the First Coast. So we go all the way from the Florida-Georgia border all the way down to St. Augustine with 13 different branches. Couple of ways to keep people more fit and active. Each one of our branches and on the First Coast, we offer Silver Sneakers and the Renew Active membership. So those are free memberships to everyone who is over the age of 65 who has a Medicare Advantage plan. They can just come into the Y and they have access to every single one of our locations and also nationwide. So if they're traveling, they can go into any of the locations that they're traveling to as well as part of that. But that gives them access to every Y. So if you live on the island in Amelia Island and you are traveling over to Yulee, you can go into any of the branch in Yulee at Wildlight, or you can come down to Riverside and you just happen to be shopping at the town center and you want to get a workout in, or there's an event that is going on, you can head over to our Brooks YMCA. So we have what we call healthy aging coordinators in all 13 of our branches. They are in charge of engagement opportunities. So they are engaging those individuals who are coming into our branches, or even the community who doesn't know anything about the Y, and bringing them in to make those social connections. They have to have 12 to 13 engaging activities, from Bible study to book clubs to mahjong to potlucks, bingo, lunch and learns, all of those different things that we have at each one of our branches every single month. So it's a different activity every single month for people to come into that isn't physical fitness. So they're not necessarily going into, the Silver Sneakers classes or those type of classes or aqua aerobics classes, but they're coming in for other reasons. And we have people who are coming in just for that social interaction, and not necessarily for the physical activity. And all of that is covered underneath the membership, underneath our Medicare Advantage plans. In addition to that, we also, most people don't know that the YMCA also partners with other organizations to bring things for our members in the community that are very targeted. A lot of times it's our senior population who is using our Brooks Adaptive program. So we partner with Brooks Rehab to bring an adaptive program, which is a physical kind of keeping them going after they've had a stroke or anyone who is dealing with MS or Parkinson's. And that is held at 9 of our branches, and we're expanding in the next couple of, by the next year, we'll expand into multiple other branches as well. And it is kind of that opportunity when physical therapy ends, the Y is available to them to be able to use. So it really is a partnership between us and Brooks Rehab to focus on those individuals who've suffered from a stroke or Parkinson's or MS. In addition to that, we actually do evidence-based programming that is kind of our healthy living programs. So it's either dealing with physical and chronic disease programs. So those who have had cancer and they're looking to reclaim their lives, those individuals who are working with diabetes or are pre-diabetic. We have a diabetes prevention program and a diabetes self-management program. We also have fall prevention and arthritis management programs. And those programs are all open to the community. Some of them are covered by Medicare. Others are covered by our members who offer that program for absolutely free. And then others do have a fee-based program or fee-based fee to go along with those programs, but it is open to the community, so you do not have to be a member of the YMCA. The Y is really a great convener for our community. So we do bring in individuals like yourselves who can talk to the folks that are in our branches and coming to our branches in the community to be able to let them know about the services that are out there, so that if they are coming in and they don't see it when they're out in their normal business, they can see it when they're in the Y, so that they know how to go get education about things like we were just talking about with the need for guardianship and the need for, even senior care in the future and planning. One thing I want to let you guys all know about, because I think it's a great opportunity for our community to be a part of, is we celebrate every single year Healthy Aging Day. So it's a day for the community to come into our branches without any commitment at all, but to see what is available to the community offered by the First Coast YMCA or offered by our partners as part of that. And that is this year on Saturday, October 11th from 9 until 12. All 13 of our branches will have activities for our seniors in the community to be a part of. They will also have, education seminars in some of those locations. A lot of them are doing pickleball tournaments during that day or giving people an opportunity to try pickleball for the very first time. Some are doing our Mahjong and giving people an opportunity to see what Mahjong is, so that they can come in and make those social connections. And again, it's open to the public on that day. We would love to have as many of you that can be and bring in folks that you are servicing to be a part of that. So the First Coast YMCA is one of the largest YMCAs in the country, and we really are here committed to the members of our community and servicing those members.
Connie, thank you so much. Very appreciated. If you happen to have a brochure that you want us to send out for that October event, please do so, but it's probably also connected to the link that you gave us that we put into that chat box.
It is. Everything is on the link that we gave you all. So we have all of the information on all of our programming that we have on our website, as well as our Healthy Aging Day.
Excellent. And there's a question for you in the chat box, Connie, if you're comfortable typing back to that. I'm going to move on to Latonja. Latonja is with the city of Jacksonville, who also has a lot of things that help seniors, the isolation. I won't steal her thunder, but Latonja, you're up. You got about 5 minutes.
Okay.
Quick overview. What should people know about all the
Great.
great stuff that you guys offer?
Laura, are you able to post the flyer
Yes.
that Kwanzaa sent?
Yep.
Okay, great. Hi, everybody. Like Ms. Laura said, I'm Latonja Best. I work for the city of Jacksonville in the Senior Service Division, where we are all things seniors. Our goal is to engage and, yeah, there we go. Okay, is to engage and enrich the lives of seniors all across Duval County. Okay, we have some flyers here. Okay, great. And I'll start. Can you back up? Okay. Okay, well, the seniors, the city of Jax, we have senior centers all across Duval County, from Ocean Way out to Maxville. And our centers are designed to, offer activities and opportunities for education for seniors. They have daily activities such as, of course, like the mahjong and the bingos and just sitting and talking and interacting, with each other, just being in each other's presence helps to, not, well, I guess, yeah, to lessen, the feelings of being isolated or feeling alone. Also, our centers have provide lunch daily. And we have a nutritionist on our staff. So the lunches are nutritionally balanced. Okay, great. There they are. Thank you, Ms. Laura. Appreciate it so much. Okay, and right here you can see this is the directory of the senior centers. We have, like I said, a center in the beaches area, Ocean Way, Mandarin area. And each center has a center activity specialist who's responsible for coordinating a calendar, and the calendars are put online so everyone can see them. And it's really neat because each center has its own, culture. And so you'll see some activities, over at maybe Benny Furlong that you won't see at, I don't know, at Mandarin Center, because, those are the activities that the seniors really enjoy. So each month they are responsible for creating a calendar of events and of activities for the participants to enjoy. They also have speakers that come in, and some of the agencies that are on the meeting today would come in and talk about resources that are available, to seniors, and to, be able to educate them about just different topics and things that they need to know. So that's amazing. So these are our centers right here. One of the newest center I know that we have is, where is it? Pine Forest, 4035 Grant Road, in the Emerson area. Yes, right in the Emerson area. It's a really neat center. There's no cost, to come into the center. Majority of the activities that are offered are free. If there is a cost, it's very small, $2 or $3. Yeah, not much at all. And I did say that they do have hot lunch that they serve, and they also do things like potlucks, and things like that. So it's these centers, we serve probably I want to say about 1,500 seniors. I'm going to say that, about 1,500 seniors. And the centers are open daily from 8 to 5, and they have activities, that span the course of the day. Great, there you go. Social recreational activities, wellness. Most of the centers have opportunities, maybe I know one of them I saw had mahjong, but they have walking, chair exercise, chair yoga, chair volleyball, things of that nature. So those are our centers, 16 locations. That's right, open 8 to 5 with a lot of activities. And yeah, these centers are great because like I said, the seniors that are coming to the centers, a lot of them that from my experience some are, no longer married, their spouse has passed on, and just being able to come out and just, be around their peers just gives them some encouragement, some hope. Okay, let's see the next, can you pull up the next one for me? Let's see, okay. All right. So in addition to senior centers that our division has, we also have another side, which is programs. And these are programs that are volunteer based. So these are opportunities for the seniors to get involved. So I'll just briefly, like the foster grandparent program. So if you want to share your experience and compassion with children, you can register with the program and you would be assigned to a school, and you would have a couple of students that the senior would mentor, and work with throughout the year. And so that's a great program. You can see the contact information is right there. Okay, contact, 630-5450. Then you have the independent living program, which is a program that is designed to support homebound seniors, to give them some socialization in the home. These are seniors that cannot come out to the centers anymore for a variety of reasons. So we have the volunteers that will visit them a couple of times a week and do activities with them in the home. And this also gives the caregiver a break. They can go and run errands and take care of their needs. Both of these programs, the foster grandparent and the independent living program, provide a stipend for the volunteers that are enrolled in the program. So again, another great way for for someone that is solo, that wants to, to give back and stay engaged. Then we have the Senior Companion Program, which is very similar to the Independent Living Program, but these are volunteers that are able to, they can take their client out of the home. So they can take them to the dollar store, to the grocery store, to support them at their doctor's visit, or even go with them to a senior center that's close by their home. That's the difference. The Independent Living volunteers, they stay in the home, but Senior Companion, they can take them out and they can travel. It's a great program. Again, this is another stipend program. So they do receive a small stipend for the time that they spend with their client. Contact information is there on the screen. And then we also have a homemaking program. And this provides light housekeeping services for seniors that are 60 years and older, that want to remain in their home, but they need a little bit of, support to be able to maintain their home. There's no cost for the service. And like it says, most participants get 2 to 3 hours of housekeeping. I will tell you, there is a wait list right now, but I understand that they have brought on, I think, or they're working on bringing on another agency. So the wait list may start moving along, but please feel free to call. If looking for information, the contact information is there. The phone number 255-6677. And Christopher Jones is the program manager there. And then lastly, we have the EHEAP, which is Emergency Home Energy Assistance Program. And this is for seniors that, again, are 60 years or older that are experiencing a crisis with their utility bill. This is a great program, again, because, those bills are getting a little high. So this program will help pay for the electric portion of the bill. It doesn't cover the water, but again, it is a great resource for seniors. And we also partner with JEA. We do attend their senior day at JEA, and so they can get assistance right there on the spot. And that's the EHE program. Is there another one? I don't think there's another one at the bottom, right? No. Okay. And then also, the senior services, we have the a special events department, and you may have heard of some of them. We do the annual prom, the annual fish-a-thon, the senior games, which is coming up, and these are all opportunities for seniors to get involved. Most of the activities are free, or they have a small fee, again, of $10 or less. The senior games is upon us, and that will be in October. And that is for seniors that are athletically inclined, which is great. I think there's a flyer, Laura. Is there one?
That might be in the chat
In the
box.
chat? Okay.
And we will send that out after the fact also.
Send that out. And then we have an open house that's coming up September the 25th. That's going to be at our Southside Senior Center. And this, again, is an opportunity for the community to come out and learn about the different centers and all the programs and resources that we have. It's going to be in the evening. So for those that are working, to give them an opportunity to potentially stop by. And the last, okay. And we also have, it's called the Council on Elder Affairs. And this is a council that's made up of seniors. Let me just read this because I don't want to mess it up. This is Council on Elder Affairs. It's established to serve as an advocate for older adults in the city, Duval County. And it's designed to help, like I said, it's designed to help those that are in government or elected officials to know, what are the seniors' priorities, what, programs or, services that seniors are asking for, to be implemented. So it's a great council. They meet every other month, but coming up, they have their award ceremony, and you can see that flyer. So they're going to be honoring seniors that have gone above and beyond in the community. So yeah, that's another opportunity to get involved. So thank you so much. I want to say this meeting has been exceptional for me. I've learned so much, and I can't wait to connect with some of the people that I met. So thank you so much.
Latonja, thank you. Awesome. And again, thank you for all the work that you do in the city of Jacksonville. We are at time, so let me give you a couple of last things. Diana is on here with us. She's with Blue Cross Blue Shield. She's given us some flyers about all the things that are free for people at the town center, especially some of them are targeted towards things that seniors would be interested in. So we will include that in the post email. I also want to mention that if you're not familiar with somebody who does placement, Pamela Sanderson also is on here. Pamela, I think you've introduced yourself in the chat box, but her kind of role will work with you to say, what does this person need? Do they need assisted living? Do they need dementia care? Who are the facilities that would be the right facilities for them? So the Pamelas of the world are awesome to help people make those decisions and kind of work through it. And then lastly, I put a post in the chat box, just an example. When I said that there's so many things that fit under these topics of solo aging, we've done so many programs that also support this. So if you take a look, I just put the 2025 ones on. We've got that YouTube channel on Senior Roundtable on YouTube. And with that, and you can see the link there, but we'll also send that out. Just this year, Alzheimer's, dementia caregiving, end-of-life resources. Senior housing was a big one in May. We just did senior technology, helping folks use an iPhone, use an iPad, etc. And what that also included is we did a live feed in Prachi's place over on Phillips Highway with all the different things out there that will help people do solo aging. So there's all kinds of things on there. It just didn't have enough space for me to put it, but we've got it all the way back to 2022. We'll send you a list of all of them and what dates so you can find them on the YouTube channel and come back. So many different resources that support this. We are going to now do our last thing, which is the Wheel of Names. We've got a couple $25 Amazon gift cards, courtesy of Anita and the meeting as the meeting sponsor. And if you are here, you've got to be here. Make sure you unmute yourself. The first winner is Nicole. Nicole, are you here? Scream, shout, yell.
I am.
Yay, Nicole, congratulations. So we'll connect you after the fact with Anita. Let's see who our last person is. And as we're waiting for that, our meeting in November is going to be in person at Elder Source.
Oh.
Esther. Esther, awesome. Good deeds for all the hard work that you did for us today. So thank you. Our next meeting is in November. We're hoping it's going to be a hybrid that we can also set up that Zoom option for those who cannot make the meeting in person. You'll see more about that as we get close. Thank you all for hanging with us today. A huge thank you to all the speakers, our meeting sponsor. You're why people come to these meetings. So thank you so much for doing that. Advisory committee, thank you. Elder Source Community Foundation, great to see everybody. Hope to see you in November.
Okay.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.